Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Energy Inside Motion. I'm here today with my guest, Some Honey.
Hey y'all! Hey, I'm Some Honey. I'm a singer-songwriter based in the West Midlands. If you like alternative R&B, then maybe you're for me, or I'm for you. But that's kind of what I do.
How did you get into music at a young age?
So I always loved music. My great auntie had a piano upstairs and I used to sneak upstairs whenever we'd go and visit her, and I'd always play away. And then she gifted me a keyboard. So I remember I used to like make songs on there. But then what really did it for me was I saw Leona Lewis on X Factor when I was like maybe 6, 7 years old. And I remember I begged my parents for her CD. And at Christmas time, I got her CD. I remember back in the day when you used to get like the little lyric book in there. And I also got this VW Beatle radio player, and you could like press the bonnet and it would lift up, and that's where you put the CD in. It was the coolest thing. But yeah, I was upstairs and I was singing in my bedroom, and my parents were like, "Is that you singing?" I said, "Yeah, that's me." Like, "Can you sing again?" So I sang. They were like, "Oh my God, she knows how to sing. What?" So they took me for a singing lesson. It kind of just went from there, and I've always been obsessed. So, yeah.
What was your sort of environment like growing up?
Oh, it was a really loving environment. Like I always say that I think the reason why I love so hard is because my household was so full of love. Like I was always taught to love unconditionally and like give. And I think it's just the way that I've become because of that. But yeah, I had the best childhood with my little brother. Yeah, he's a little shit, but I love him.
Was there any people in your family that also did sort of creative things?
So yes and no, like neither of my parents are musical and neither is my brother. So it's quite strange, like in the immediate family. My great auntie played piano, but we weren't blood related, and I only saw her every now and again. But other than that, no one in my family really does music, apart from stories that my mum's told me about my granddad. So her dad, he's from the village in Thailand, and apparently he had this wooden flute that he used to play, which is really cute, but I never got to hear him play, unfortunately. So maybe I'll get it from there.
So what sort of like impact on your music did your home environment have?
You know what? I think I had like the most supportive parents growing up. So I think because they were so supportive, it was like anytime I wanted to sing something or anytime I wrote a song and I played it, they'd be like, "Wow, like what else do you have? Like show me more." And I think them encouraging me really helped, because I think without the encouragement, obviously like you can kind of stay in your shell. And I'm quite an awkward person. I feel like that might have kicked in a bit later in life as opposed to earlier in my life. But yeah, having that support system around me really like pushed me to carry on, because I'm like, I want to make y'all proud. Do you like this one? So yeah.
Okay. So what were some of your favourite genres growing up?
I was such a ballad girly. Like I hate to be the stereotypical Asian, but I really, really was. Like I loved sing. If I could make you cry through music, I did a good job. That's how I know I can sing well. So I was listening to like Aguilera, I was listening to Alicia Keys, I was listening to Whitney Houston, like any songs that will make you cry. Eva Cassidy, Songbird, like the old folky stuff where it's like, it's just, you can feel it in your soul. So yeah, I listened to a lot of that. I remember I picked out a record when I was like 9 years old from my dad's old record collection. And it was this old school like funk, soul and blues record. And now I actually sing all of the songs that are on there. So it's quite cool.
I'd love to hear you sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Yeah, I'll do it anytime for you. You want it now?
If you want to.
I can. I feel like I'm laughing too hard now. But I can do that for you anytime. I used to sing that all the time for my great grandma. And then for her funeral, I actually sang Songbird by Eva Cassidy as well. So Eva Cassidy holds it.
It was played at my granddad's as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why I love that song.
Oh, no, that's so sweet. Okay, I have to sing it for you then. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. I don't really remember the rest of the song, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah. Thank you.
So what age did you get into the music studio and start recording music?
Yeah, okay. So actually, you know how Adele has her albums like 19, 20, and 21, right? So I originally came up with my album ideas of like 8, 9, and 10. So I remember my first ever studio recording session. It was at Rabanas and it was with Mig, and I'm still friends with Mig to this day. But yeah, I must have been like 8, 9 when I was in the studio, and I've got all my old demos, but they're all covers, they're not originals.
The song Coco. What was the creation process like for that song?
Oh, for Coco, I'd say the creative process for Coco is really, really interesting. I remember I was sat at home and I was like, I just want to write a song. And I think I watched like a really, really sad movie. And I was like heartbroken for her. I'm a big empath. My parents raised an empath. So I think I just sat on my MIDI keyboard and I was just playing the chords. And I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. And then I think I came up with I decided on like the drum, the time signature. And it's like, and I liked that. And then with that, I think I had the chorus first. So like, I loved you, is that not enough? But I just kind of wanted it to be a story. Like I loved reading books growing up. And I really like when a song can kind of like take you through the motions. And it's not necessarily that you have to like have lived the exact same version that I've lived. But I know that there are so many times where like, for example, like I say like, throw my red wine on your shirt. I've never done it, but I've always wanted to. Like the day that I'm able to throw red wine on a man's white shirt, please get a camera out, you know? So I did that, and I just I think I had a verse and a chorus first. And then I just was like, I need harmonies. And I remember I sat and I recorded all the harmonies, and I was like, okay, let me just record this in a different voice. So I'm there being like, I loved you, was dead, nothing, like not even sounding like me, but just to make it sound like a choir. And then I think I just kind of built upon it from there. And then in the end, I worked with Amadeus, and he ended up like doing the final production for me from my chaotic idea.
Something that I wanted to ask is, so obviously you have your normal identity as a person, but then I feel like as an artist, you craft like an artist. How have you sort of been able to like translate your authenticity into like that?
I feel like it's been really easy to translate my authenticity into my artistry, because I feel like who I am as an artist is who I wish I was when I was a normal person. Because I feel like in normal settings, I am so awkward. I would happily be the fly on the wall in the room. Like I love when we're in a big group of people and everybody else is talking and I don't have to say much. I can just sit there and be like, yeah, absorb everything. But I feel like some honey, she's a bit more confident. She's a bit more out the gate and says all the things that like T's a bit too scared to, not even too scared, just too worried about what other people think. Whereas I think with some honey, I kind of said, you know what, everybody, doesn't matter. So yeah.
What does making music do for you internally as a person?
Oh, it's like therapy. Making music for me is like, it's like getting that itch that you can't scratch. I think there are so many times that I listen to music and I'm like, oh, I wish I wrote that. Or like, how did they get that feeling into words so well? And I just think for me, I'm actually really terrible at telling people how I feel, even though I'm a songwriter. So I feel like when I write music, I can just put everything on paper and it doesn't feel like I'm actually directly telling you. Instead, I'm going, do you like my song? Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about you? Do you like it? Pause. Do you like that line there? And that's what I do.
So with your songwriting process, what's that kind of like for you? Like, what's your process like making a song?
I have like 3 different ways of approaching songwriting, okay? I write from a list of titles. I've got like a list of like 200 song titles, and sometimes I'll just scroll through and I'll go, that one looks good today, let's write a song about that. And I'll just try and find a beat, or I'll try and make something that sounds similar to the vibe of the title, and I'll be like, yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I'll go from there. Other times, I will hear a track and I'll be like, pause, this melody would be so sick on it. Mm-hmm. And I just do it that way. And then I also have my other way, which is you haven't written a song for 3 months. You need to write a song. You've got 20 minutes to write a song, and then I panic write. And that's what I do. It's honestly, it's so chaotic, but I sit there and I'm like, okay, you haven't written a song, you need to write a song. Or I hear somebody else has written another and I'm like, damn, you've written 4 songs since I last saw you. I've done absolutely 4. And that's actually how I write.
So what advice do you have for artists who are learning how to create music?
Oh, if I could give any bit of advice to an artist who is starting out and is like starting to create music, I would say make something you love. Like, don't try and make something that's similar to what you heard in the charts. Like, if you love heavy metal, make a heavy metal song because you'll be able to like put your all in it and refer to it that way. And also find other people that can work with the same type of music that you want to make, because just working with somebody because you're friends doesn't mean it's the right decision. I think sometimes we work with people because of ease, because we're a little bit too scared to be like, well, that producer actually does what I want to do, but how do I speak to them? At the end of the day, we're all people, so just ask a question. Yeah, I think that's what I would say.
Something I wanted to ask. So you're on The Voice UK.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
I'd say that was, you know what? It was actually a very, very interesting experience. It was, at the time, one of the best experiences of my life. I think I definitely grew and learned a lot from the whole experience. But when everything was going on, it was so crazy. I had COVID when they contacted me. It was all in lockdown when I filmed everything. And I remember I had a phone call and they were like, hey, we still have your name on the books from like 2017, because I auditioned and I didn't get through. And they were like, do you want to do an audition? It's producers. And I was like, sure, why not? I said, I might have to leave though, because my mom's really sick with COVID, so we might have to call an ambulance. And they were like, yeah, it's fine. So I sang and they're like, yeah, you're sick. And it just kept like progressing and it didn't feel real at the time. I felt so cool because I had one of those like little passes that meant like whenever anybody stopped me on public transport, where are you going? Oh. Here. This is where I'm going. So yeah, it was fun. Like I think I was 19 when I first did my audition, and then I was 20 by the time I did my blind audition. It was very different versus some of my other friends who have been on The Voice, because it was during COVID. So we were all in like square. We wouldn't have been able to sit this close. Like you had to be on that square over there, like way far away. But yeah, I had a good time. I definitely know what I would do differently now as somebody who is less of a people pleaser. But it was a great experience. And one of the coolest things that happened was, so I did a TV competition when I was 10. It was called Must Be the Music on Sky TV. And the guy who was doing my interview for me for The Voice was the same guy who interviewed me for that TV competition when I was 10. And he was like, you were in a competition, I remember you. And I was like, insane. So it's nice to see the world go full circle. Yeah.
So in terms of your live performances, what do you think makes a good live performance, and what's your sort of like your own authentic style of performing live?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think what makes a good live performance is making your audience feel like they're a part of it, but also still having those self-indulgent moments, because you're not a performative monkey. You don't have to look at everybody and be like, I want to fall in. I'm looking you dead in the eyes while I say love. You know, like sometimes you sing to everybody, or you like, I love to tell stories during my gigs, because I feel like a lot of the time I write from really, really random places, or I write about things that I've processed like 3 years late. You know, like there'll be something I want to say to somebody, and then now I've written a song about it. I'm like, we don't speak anymore, but if you hear this, you know it's about you. But yeah, I love to tell stories. I love to make people feel included and like understand a bit about me. But I think a thing that I do in my shows is like, I'm awkward, but I'm funny. So like I get you involved, I'll tell you a little bit, and then I'll be like, right, okay, so maybe I should shut up and start singing, and just crack a little bit of joke, because I have such a dry humor that some people will like and some people don't. But I feel like when I throw it in a performance, then yeah. And one of my favorite things is getting the audience to join in. Like, I don't care if you can sing or not, but the fact that like you've enjoyed it enough to join in is like, it's like a hug, you know?
So what sort of ways have you built your confidence over the years, and what advice do you have for people who are trying to build their confidence?
It's taken a lot to build my confidence, you know. I used to be so awkward at speaking in between songs that I got a job in hospitality just so I could force myself to speak to people. because I was so bad at it. I have videos from before when I used to speak in between gigs and I'd be like, so this is a song by Jessie J. Enjoy. And that would literally be it. It'd be so awkward. And you know what? For a lot of my musical career, I have been really awkward. I would say over the last like 2 years is when I was finally like, I don't care anymore. It's not that I don't care. I think what happened was prior to my Some Honey identity, I had my old alias that I used to go by, Tasha Jirawan. And she was very much my shy, timid self, okay? And it's not that she's not there anymore. She's just locked behind a little door and she's saying, come out, come and have some cake. Do you know what I mean? Like, just come out. And I just, ever since I shaved my head, I was just kind of like unapologetically me. I shaved my head and I was like, now I kind of don't care what the world thinks about me because you're going to stare at me. You're going to look sideways or someone random's going to come up to you and start a conversation like, oh my God, I love your hair. And now I have to be okay with it, you know? So I think ever since I started my Some Honey journey, I was just kind of like, you know what? I actually belong in the rooms that I'm putting myself into. Because before, I would always question, like I'm a big questioner of like my self-worth and everything else. And sometimes I'll be like, oh, well, everybody else is so amazing. Like, why am I here? And to be honest, I still have days where I'm like, you sure you wanted me to do it? It's like with BBC Introducing when I did their Christmas special. I remember I got the phone call being like, hey, we're doing a Christmas special. Do you want to be a part of it? I was like, hell yeah. And after the phone call, I was like, oh, they've called me because someone's dropped out. Right, and that was my immediate thinking. And then when I was there and I was speaking to them, they were like, no, it got approved like the day of that I called you. And I was like, oh, so you actually wanted me? And it's just kind of like, they say, you know how you say fake it till you make it? I like to think like fake it till you become it. Because at the end of the day, if it's what you want to be, you may as well act that way, you know? So I decided to act like a confident baddie, even though inside I'm screaming. You know, but I would say for anybody else who wants to build their confidence, find people that you feel comfortable with. Or even if you find like one person that you feel comfortable with that feels like your safe space, if you can go to an event with your safe space, you're always going to feel at home. You know, even if it's like a networking event and you don't have to be with each other, but knowing that there's somebody else in the room who knows your worth and values you, and that you feel safe with, then I think you find it so much easier to blossom. You know what I mean? It's like a plant will grow and blossom far better in a watered, hydrated room filled with steam and warmth than it will in a cold room, which hasn't got much sunlight or feels like it hasn't got much sunlight, but the window's actually just closed. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I think it's like the connection between your internal self and your external self.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like a fighting battle between the two, because it's like sometimes I find myself like yapping and just talking, and inside I'm like, can you just shut up? Why are you still talking? I want this conversation to end, but you're the reason why it's carrying on. And it's just finding the balance between the two. But you're never going to get that overnight. Like, I still have to try and find the balance between the two. And I think it's just it's a learning curve of like learning what you need, you know? Yeah.
I think though, to like cause a big shift in your identity or to actually like really change like your vibration, your expression, you sort of have to disconnect your internal and your external self, because they're joined together.
Definitely. Or you know what you need to do? You need to put yourself in a situation, and I don't mean a bad one. I mean like put yourself in a situation that your normal self might feel uncomfortable with, but has always entertained the thought of. You know what I mean? Like, for example, solo traveling. The number of times I hear people say to me, oh my God, I love that you solo travel, but I could never do it. Why?
It's because they say that.
Exactly.
If you say something, then that's exactly what happened.
Exactly. But then when you put it into perspective of, well, why don't you just book 3 days somewhere or 2 days somewhere, spend one night and explore it the same way you would as you were moving to another city, and just change your mindset on it. It's not that you're going to a whole new scary land. It's just that you're putting yourself in a slightly uncomfortable situation. But that was my New Year's resolution for a couple of years ago. I said, you need to find comfort in uncomfort, because if you feel comfortable, it means you're not growing. Mm-hmm. You know, I think you need that little sense of, oh, is this right? Because if you're questioning it, it means that your mind's working and things are changing in the right way. And you can always tell when something's not working for you. Mm-hmm. But I just think, finding comfort in uncomfort is probably one of the best things I ever did.
How would you say like your sort of home roots like influence the sound of your music?
Ooh. You know what? I don't necessarily feel like I have much of an influence on my home roots in my music. Like, I would love to have way more Thai influence in there, or throw like a funky little, I don't know, wooden instrument, some random harmonica. I don't know what instruments they use. I just hear all the old people in the village like banging things, you know what I mean? Or even if it was like some like Thai percussion. You know what? There's a song by Ginton called Black Magic Woman, and that song to me feels like Thailand, right? So I would love to try and draw out whatever it is that he's got in there. Maybe it might be the guitar riff or something, and include it more in my music. But I think like the loving aspect of my home means that like I write my music with a lot of love, and you can feel that when I write a sad love song, like, damn, she's hurting, you know? And when I write a funny, like, you know, comedic song, you're like, actually, yeah, okay, so yeah, she's yeah. So I just think having a home that was supportive just meant that my music feels like, I don't know how to explain it. Do you get what I mean? I feel like you don't get what I mean.
No, I do.
Okay, cool.
In terms of like your artistry, how did you sort of like develop your own like image as an artist?
Oh, developing my image as an artist has been a very interesting journey, because I think it's just one that is like constantly developing. I haven't reached my final endpoint, and I definitely am nowhere near where I was at the beginning. I think a lot of the time before, my mom would always be like, why are you wearing such baggy clothes? Why do you always dress like a boy? Blah, 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 blah. As every Asian mother does. Love you, mom, by the way. Please don't hate me. But it's like, I think I shaved my head, and then I was like, oh, well, people are going to think like X, Y, Z about me because I'm a woman with a shaved head and I wear baggy clothes and everything else. And if anything, I just kind of made me be like, just wear it. Like, I have always grown up so self-conscious of my own body and self-conscious of myself. And I think I reached a point, I'm nowhere near happy. Why? If Manjaro could sponsor me and give it to me, I'd take it for free. I wouldn't pay. But if you're going to give it to me, I'll take it. But I think just accepting that I am how I am, like I said, when I shaved my head, that was like a really big part of like, you just are who you are, you know, and I can't hide behind my curly hair anymore. I can't hide behind a fringe or anything else. The closest I can get to that is a big hat, and I still look like a twat. So yeah.
Yeah, but I think like clothes and hair, like they're going to store memories subconsciously for you.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's important for me as an artist is that I feel comfortable. Like, I have done all of like the function band, like wedding stuff, where I've had to dress up a certain way, and it's just not for me. Like, I would rather be comfortable. And I think another thing that helped me was I always used to wear like skirts and dresses when I was performing. And then my vocal coach turned around to me and she was like, you know, you can wear trousers. Like, you don't have to wear a skirt. And if anything, you can probably feel your support a bit more. And I was like, okay, let me try. Game changer. I just feel comfortable. It's just, yeah, my main thing about being on stage and like performing and me as an artist is that I'm comfortable, and that I like dressing up every now and again, but I think the fact that I look the same when I'm on stage and off stage is kind of just like part of me. If you see me in the street, you know it's me. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, there she is in that black and yellow jacket again. You know, or just whatever. Like, you can spot my little bald head from a mile away and you go, somebody. And yeah.
Okay, so who are some different artists that you want to collaborate with?
Oh, artists that I want to collaborate with. That's a very good question. Some local artists I really want to call me Unique, Ui, Maddie. We already have a song together, but I don't remember it, so to write another one. Who else locally? Jada Poetry, she's cold. She reminds me, I can't even remember who it is. There's this one artist that I listened to before when I was young, and I was like, oh, she's so like cool with her flow. Ocean, because her vocals are insane. And I just feel like if we did a song together, we could do like the Brahms version of Girl Like Me, a little bit of Jasmine Sullivan, and like, oh, for a girl like me. And she'll come in with her little, yeah. that, yeah. There's many, many more, but my brain's gone blank. So please don't hate me if I didn't say your name. If you want to collaborate, call me.
So, over the upcoming years, where are you looking to sort of take your music career?
Over the next few years, I would love to tour. I want to do more touring. I love performing live. And I know that with that, it also means I need to release. So I will release some music. You know what it is? I'm just such a perfectionist that it's a habit I'm trying to get out of. Instead of being in my head about everything, I'm trying to just be like, okay, let the song go, you know? But yeah, I'd love to do a tour. I just think after having like a few videos that blew up, I realized that my online fan base is all over the world now. And I just think it'd be really cool to go and connect with them. Like, I don't care if I'm playing to a room of 15 people or 20 people, or if there's 5 in the room, and you know what I mean? And we can all have a chat afterwards. I just would love to do some more live performances, would really like to play with my band a bit more as well. And put on a few more nights where we can just like let loose and have fun, you know? And I would really, 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 really like to go to the States. I would love to do a road trip from Nashville to Memphis and go to all of like the old school, like blues venues. Like, I don't even have to get involved, but if I could see one old cool mofo with his guitar, chewing on his little toothpick, I'd be like, show me. You know. So yeah, I think that's what I would like. And to collaborate more. I really want to collaborate more. I love collaborating. I'm just really awkward at like initiating the conversation. But that was like advice that I gave people. It's something that I'm also working on, because a lot of the time when I approach people, I'm like, I want to collaborate. They're like, oh my God, same. I was waiting for you to ask. I'm like, you waiting for me? Okay. So yes.
What would you say has been your favourite live performance that you've done?
Oh, now that is a good question. Okay, so my favourite live performance that I've done. Can I give you like 2, maybe 3?
Do it.
Please, thank you. Okay, favourite live performances that I've done. I really, really, really enjoyed supporting Omar and Arrested Development. I want to put them together in like one, because doing support for like such incredible artists that are insane, that my dad grew up listening to and the room was filled for, was amazing. And also the fact that the room like recepted me so well was so amazing. And I really enjoyed playing with my band then and just vibing and being me. I grew up listening to Eminem with my pops. Mockingbird was our song. So when I did the Jam House last time, we did a 1950s soul version of Lose Yourself. So I felt like a cool mofo, because I was there like, I grew up on this song. Are you all clocking the song yet? I just sang Mom's Spaghetti and now everyone's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. So I would say like, yeah, the Jam House supporting those guys. I would say there was one gig I did in Manchester, and it's the video that's pinned on my profile of Best Part. That rooftop gig was the most beautiful gig I've ever done. It was scheduled to rain, and the sky ended up being beautiful and clear, and the sunset was all pink and orange and blue, and it was so intimate with the audience that like I could see everybody. I had my Frankie Army in the audience being like running around with that camera doing up videographer, like, you know. So I'd say there. And then the last one that I want to say is Hare and Hounds, where I supported Nee Maxine. It was a sold out show, and everybody in the room, even though like 90% of them had no idea who I was, they were also like loving and caring towards my music. And so many people came up to me afterwards and were like, that song, oh my God, it reminds me of XYZ. And just knowing that people relate and being able to have conversations with people at gigs, it's like it's a really nice thing for me. I do get overstimulated sometimes, but I do actually love it. Like, I love people coming up to me and speaking to me about it, because I'm like, y'all want a hug? Can I hug you? Yeah.
What are some different ways that you want to experiment with your music in the future?
I would love to experiment on some garage or on some house and some heavy drum and bass music. I'm not gonna lie to you, I would love it. I would also love to do some of that, like, you know that sexy slow rap that people do where it's like the Loyal Kana kind of, you know. Like that sexy, slow, sultry, like I'm speaking, but I'm spitting facts and like you're understanding what I'm saying, but I'm on a level, and like I would love to try that, because in the studio I can do that. In public I'm thinking, I ain't no rapper.
Nice. Some Honey Tom's gigs.
Yeah, come on, manifest it. It's cool. We're gonna do that. I'm gonna holler up. I'm gonna hit up Koji. I'm still gonna go for that collab. But yeah, I just think like getting on some genres that are a little bit not outside of my comfort zone, just stuff that I bang in the shower, or like things that I've grown up listening to where I'm like, I hear the power vocals and I'm like, ooh, I like that. I want to be able to make a song where I hear it and I go, I made that, you know.
What was your experience like at the Spotify event with Girl Grind?
Oh, my experience at the Spotify event with Girl Grind was so incredible. It was such a blessing to be invited by Namaiwa and to be with all the girls as well. I feel like I really gained a community working with Girl Grind. I feel like I was the girl that grew up with a lot of guy friends. So finally having like a group of female identifying people around me was just really wholesome to be able to be like, oh, yo, we're all following the same dreams, like, and we're supporting each other, which was great. And it was a blessing because I got invited to perform as well. So I got to perform for Koji, Dahlia performed as well. And it was just a really, really incredible experience being able to be shown around the Spotify HQ. Do you understand how cool I felt? I wore a green dress. I was the same color as the logo. I was like, if I'm going to be at Spotify, I'm going to be at Spotify. I had become one. I got a little notebook and a pen that's chilling at home. I've got like one page that I've written on, but I think I'm going to rip it out because it's not perfect enough for the book. You know what I mean? But I have said that I'm going to write all my goals in that book so that I can keep manifesting. But yeah, it was a really, really incredible, fun experience that I would say anybody who wants to work with Girl Grind, do it. Like, don't hesitate, because I think I also questioned whether, oh my God, am I going to be good enough to be a part of this community? And then got accepted like straight away. And it was like, oh my God, this is what acceptance feels like.
So what kind of a role does spirituality play in your progress as a person and in your musical journey?
You know what? I've actually never been asked about my spirituality before. So I appreciate you asking. I think my spirituality keeps me grounded in an environment and a career which tries to like elevate you a little bit too much. I think I'm a very humble person. Like, you can tell me I'm great and I'll be like, thanks. And I am blushing and I'm like, yeah, I'm good, but there are better people. And that's just the way my brain works. I think having this sense of like otherworldliness, like music is a universal language between everybody. You don't have to understand what I'm saying to feel the emotion through the tone of voice. And I think that is a spiritual experience within itself, because the fact that I can have somebody from China, somebody from Zimbabwe, somebody from Thailand, from Russia, listening to what I'm singing and they can still get the emotion that I convey. I think that is like an all being one spiritual experience. I don't really know what else to say. Like, I think sometimes I call to the gods and my ancestors to be like, please help me finish this song. And occasionally the idea will come, but other times I'm like, yeah, I just think staying grounded is like a really important thing to me. I've said to everybody, if ever my head gets too big, like, smack me, please, because I would hate to be the person in the room that thinks they're the shit, but nobody likes. You know what I mean? That person that's obnoxious, whereas it's different between, there's a difference between being the person that everybody's like, they're dope, but they just act normal. You know what I mean? I would rather be normal than be like, y'all know honey? You should. If I say that, I'm only joking, you know?
No, 100%. So something I could imagine you doing is like Christmas songs.
Yeah, I've done a few Christmas gigs before, you know. I actually did a gig in December raising money for Alzheimer's Research UK. And I did all different Christmas tunes and was singing away, a little bit of Destiny's Child in there as well, because we've got to throw some seasoned Christmas tunes in there too. But yeah, I love it. One of my favorite songs that I used to sing before, which is actually very peak. You know how I said I like to make people cry? You know, In the Bleak Midwinter. In the bleak midwinter. I used to sing that when I was in choir. I like that one though. Like I said, it's a sad song. It's like, damn, it feels so still. I do like happy songs as well, though. I'm not just a sad baddie. It's cool.
I could imagine you doing it somewhere only we know.
Yes. Like the John Lewis version, like from the advert. Yeah. I always said before, I would love to bag a John Lewis advert. I would. I'm literally at the point where I'm like, you know, I'm going to go through every single song that I can possibly make sad.
Just like... Good to go. Okay, so would you ever work on an album?
On an album? I would work on an album, yes. I just think you know what it is? I'm so indecisive. I feel like if I wrote an album, I need to write 2 albums worth of songs to give to somebody else to be like, pick. Because I feel like I have so much to say, you know? And I also feel like I write so many songs that are like spaced apart where they actually interlink so well with each other story-wise. But an album is definitely something I would work on. I feel like I've got so much honey to give the world.
I could imagine you having like a self-titled album.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It's got to be done. It's got to be like Some Honey. Self-titled original. Yeah. Facts. Like I'm doing an event soon called Honey After Dark, where it's going to be like more of like my kind of vibe for an event. But I feel like it'd be the same kind of thing. It'd be like bringing you in for an album experience.
Who were some like musical inspirations that you had?
Musical inspirations that I had when I was younger. I mean, actually, yeah. Straight off the bat, musical inspiration would be Leona Lewis, because she is the one who inspired me to start singing in the first place. And I really loved how soft her voice is and like how her tone just like is so angelic to me. I know it's like Marmite for some people, but to me it's angelic. And Alicia Keys, I loved, like I used to bang songs in A minor, like just, you know, all the time. But I think a lot of my inspirations when I was younger were all the powerhouses, because this is what I did soon doing singing competitions. I started competing against adults when I was 9, I think, maybe 8. But yeah, Aguilera, Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Eva Cassidy, like I said earlier. Who else? I'd say like more recent inspirations. I've been banging Sasha Keeble since her first single she put out on all DSPs back, way back in the day. Because I was like, this girl's cold. She got soul. Like, I like this. So I used to bang all of her music. I think another inspiration, more like a little bit later on in my career, I'd say Mae Muller. And it's only like slightly, but it's because she writes such out the gate songs, or like she just tells you how she's feeling. Like she has this one song called Dick, right? And one of the lines in it is, I don't communal. And it just tickled me because I was like, you know what? That's such like an out the gate comment to make, but you put it in a song and it's a tune. So I would say her outlandishness helped inspire my outlandishness, because I was like, hey, I can write that, because it's not like I'm writing WAP. Do you know what I mean? It's more so like I'm baiting somebody else out for their behaviors. You've
got really powerful vocals. What advice do you have for artists who are trying to like coach themselves to improve their vocals?
Anybody who's trying to coach themselves to improve their vocals, learn your body. Learn, like it sounds so stupid or silly, or it feels silly. But my first like 3-4 vocal coaching lessons that I had my vocal coach, she just taught me breathing, which feels ridiculous to do because you breathe naturally. But when you're singing, you need to breathe naturally in an unnatural way. Or like you need to breathe unnaturally in a natural way. It's like you need to support, but it's all things that you do, but you just don't realize you're doing until you're forced to like feel where the muscles are. Warm-ups are really important. I don't warm up anywhere near as much as I should. I am guilty of being a bad singer in that sense, because yeah, if my vocal coach knew how much or how little I warmed up, I would get a slap, to be honest. But I think for anybody who's like looking to work on their own range and everything else, I would say do a range test. YouTube has so many things on there that you can do. You have a whole range test where you can start at whatever note you feel comfortable at and finish at whichever note you feel comfortable at. And then you'll kind of figure out where you should sing. And I think everything else kind of just comes with it the more that you learn. Because I think if you want to learn anything, you hyperfocus. At least I do anyway. If I want to know something, I'm going to research it until I know exactly what I'm doing. So I think the deeper you fall into the rabbit hole of, okay, I'm learning my breathing. Oh, how do you use your diaphragm? Oh, okay. What do you mean? You're meant to feel, your whole face is meant to vibrate when you sing. That's placement. It's just different things that some singing teachers don't teach you, others do. It's just a way of teaching. But I think being in tune with your body is one of the most important things, because I hear of so many singers that push themselves and they're like, oh, I've got a sore throat, X, Y, Z. Or how do you sing for like 3 hours at a gig and not feel tired, like vocally, but feel physically tired? And it's all because I might not have abs, but underneath the flab, I got abs because of how much I have to work out when I'm singing. And singing should feel like a workout, and it shouldn't at the same time.
If you like to just give the viewers your social handles.
Yes, of course. You can find me at SomeHoney. That's SOMEHONEY _world without the O. So WRLD. Everywhere. So yeah, SomeHoney, all caps.
Perfect, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.